Have you ever been through this? You tried to be a decent human being, showed interest, and yet you were ignored as if you had the charisma of a traffic cone. That wonderful feeling of being disrespected. It feels like the universe gives you a solid kick and then asks why you even tried. The ground disappears, your effort evaporates, and then comes the cherry on top. You start thinking the problem is you. Spoiler alert, it's not you. It's the game you didn't even know you were playing. And guess what? You're playing it terribly. But hold on, hero of shattered self-esteem. Today I'm going to show you how to handle her disrespect. And no, we're not going to play with cheap tricks or third-rate antics. What you're about to learn is the master plan to turn the situation around, humble reality, and in the process, transform yourself into such a confident and irresistible version that she'll wonder if she was drinking to ignore you. Now, a basic warning. This video isn't for just anyone who likes to scrounge for crumbs of attention. If that's you, feel free to close the tab and go back to your gray little world. But if you're tired of being someone's emotional doormat and ready to flip the script, stay tuned because the revolution starts here. And pay attention, the last step will teach you how to crush her ego so subtly that she won't even realize it while you make a monumental leap into a life where you finally call the shots. Oh, before we continue, let's have a straight talk. This video only exists because someone with more sense than you liked, subscribed, and kept this thing running. So, do your part. Like, subscribe, and drop a thank you in the comments. Not for me, but for the algorithm. Because it's the one deciding if this truth reaches more lost souls like you. No more beating around the bush. Let's get to the point. Number 1, the problem. Disrespect and pain. Let's get serious. Disrespect. That beautiful stab to the ego that, instead of killing you outright, prefers to leave you bleeding slowly. It's that delicious feeling of being ignored while the scene status gives you a digital smirk. I know that script well. You send a message, she sees it, and nothing. Not even a comma, not a hi, not the dignity of a don't bother me. Time passes, and there you are, persistent as always, trying another angle, maybe even a meme. And what do you get? A dry emoji. A ha-ha, with the energy of someone who saw the wind pass by. Basically, she's saying, poor you, you're still trying. Then the real horror show begins. You, alone in your head, turn everything over. What did I do wrong? Am I that boring? Could I be the problem? Spoiler alert. No, the problem isn't you, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me explain a truth no one had the courage to tell you. Her disrespect isn't a reflection of your worth. It doesn't mean you're insufficient, it just means you fell into an emotional trap. She, consciously or not, is testing you. And here comes the mercy blow. The standard way everyone reacts. Freaking out, trying to please even more, only makes things worse. The more you chase, the more she loses respect. So, pay attention. It's not about you, it's about how you're playing this game. And let's be honest, so far you're playing it terribly. But the good news is, there's a way to change. The secret? Reaction. The way you react to her disrespect not only defines what happens next, but also how you see yourself. You can continue being the pitiful guy drowning in the vicious cycle, or you can turn this into a chance to flip the table. And believe me, it's possible. And that's exactly what we're going to do. First, I'll teach you what you should never do when she ignores you. Then, we'll move on to the plan to change the game for good. Ready to get out of the limbo? Then, hold on tight. Number 2, the revelation. What not to do. All right, now that you understand how her disrespect turns you into a walking disaster, it's time to face reality. Before we talk about what to do, let's take a good look at the mistakes you can no longer afford to make. These slip-ups are pure fuel to the fire, or rather gasoline to the blaze. And yes, you've probably already made at least one of them. Mistake 1, persisting as if it's your last chance on Earth. Message seen and ignored? Here you come, the poet of neediness, with a "Hi, how are you? Are you okay?" Or worse, a "Did I do something wrong?" Listen closely. Persisting is practically tattooing "I'm desperate" on your forehead. Do you know what that provokes? A deadly combination of indifference and secondhand embarrassment. She looks at her phone and thinks, "God, does he have no self-respect?" Mistake 2. Trying to buy attention with gifts or favors. You think a cute gift or an exaggerated gesture will change the game. Even worse, you think buying a snack or solving her problem will turn you into the charming prince. Let me be clear, this isn't romance. It's a desperate show with free tickets. And the result? She starts seeing you as someone trying to compensate for her own lack of self-worth. In the end, it's a mental thanks dummy. Mistake 3. Dropping hints on social media. This one deserves an award for supreme embarrassment. You post a motivational rant, a photo trying to look cool, or the classic, "Some people don't know what they're missing." Buddy, spoiler, nobody falls for that. She sees it and thinks, "My God, he's still thinking about me? Want some advice?" Delete it before Facebook starts suggesting self-help groups for you. Mistake 4. Asking for explanations like an emotional martyr. Why are you acting like this towards me? Did I do something wrong? Oh yes, nothing spices up disrespect like a good dose of self-pity. Asking that only reinforces that you're at the bottom of the emotional pit, begging for a crumb of attention. And guess what? Nobody is attracted to someone who seems to be begging for validation. So, what's the lesson here? If you've done any of these things, take a deep breath and stop right now. These behaviors not only kill any chance of recovering the situation, but also sink whatever dignity you have left. Here comes the plot twist. Her disrespect might be the best thing that's ever happened to you. Know why? Because it's your chance to show that you don't need anyone's approval, and that, believe it or not, is irresistible. Now comes the good part. How to do this. Want to change the game? Stop being a living meme and regain control? Then stay tuned, because the next step is where the magic happens. But before we continue, pay attention, emotional puppet. There you are, swaying every which way at the slightest hint of her attention, happy with the crumbs she throws like they're gold medals. Enough with that clowning around, my friend. Today is the day you take off the official doormat badge and decide you're no longer going to be treated like an old rug. Check this out. There's a digital book in the description just waiting for you to stop embarrassing yourself. And it's not some random motivational junk full of be yourself. It's the definitive guide to transforming from an ego snack to a true banquet of respect. It's time to abandon that "I'm too nice, please like me" vibe and become the guy women respect. And if they don't respect you, that's their loss. This book isn't just to help you put any woman in her place when she tries to overstep boundaries. It's the official certificate of the court jester's demise and the birth of a man who, if she doesn't want to play the game right, simply turns his back and moves on with his life. No drama, no crying, and most importantly, no apologizing for who you are. Number 3, the solution, the 3-step plan. Now that you know what not to do, and I hope you've stopped embarrassing yourself, let's get to what really matters, the action plan. It's 3 simple but powerful steps to change the game. And before you ask, no, this isn't about revenge or cheap games. It's about reclaiming your worth and building the respect you should have been demanding from the start. Let's go. Step 1, the calculated disappearance. First mission, disappear. Not like a teenage drama, but strategically stepping out of the scene. 0 messages, 0 calls, 0 interaction on social media. Not even that discreet like on stories. Nada. You're going to cut off any form of contact like shutting off a faucet dripping with dignity. Why does this work? Simple. Absence carries immense weight. When you disappear, her ego goes into crisis. Why isn't he chasing after me like all the other desperate ones? That's when the game changes. Her disrespect only works while you're available, drooling for attention. When you remove that, her power evaporates. But hold on. This isn't disappearing forever. It's a surgical move. While she was getting used to having you as Plan B, you step out of the scene and let silence speak. And let me tell you, silence is deafening when someone thought they could control you. Step 2. Focus on yourself. While you're off the radar, this is where the magic happens. You stop looking at her and start looking at yourself. The goal: to become so incredible that when you reappear, she'll wonder if she was abducted for ignoring you. First, work on your physicality. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about self-confidence. When you look in the mirror and see progress, your posture changes. Hit the gym, go for a run, learn a martial art, whatever it is. Just move that body and take care of it like it's your new $1 million project. Second, invest in something new. Learn a new skill, dedicate yourself to a hobby, or boost your career. Nothing screams "I don't need you" more than becoming a better version of yourself. She despised the complacent you, but she'll want to understand who this new guy is who shows up when she's not around. Step 3. The triumphant reappearance. Now it's time to make your triumphant entrance, but without fireworks or a parade. You disappeared, focused on yourself, and now you're back on the radar as such an improved version that even she will wonder where her head was when she ignored you. The secret here? Calculated discretion. Let's break it down. How to do this? Post strategically. No mushy texts or cheap hints. Post something that shows the progress you've made. A photo of you training, enjoying a social event, or even a personal or professional achievement. Just don't strut like a peacock. The tone is, "Look how good my life is," and not, "Look how much I want you to see this." Be seen in the right places. Show up at events, parties, or other places where you know you might run into her. But remember, you're not there because of her. You're there because your life is incredible and full of options. If a chance encounter happens, great, but don't force meetings or interactions. What not to do. Don't try to impress too much. If you come across like a walking success commercial, you'll just seem forced. Don't chase after her or seek approval. The goal here is for her to notice you, not the other way around. And for the love of your newly recovered dignity, don't pretend "now you want me." Stay in your lane. What happens? As soon as you reappear, she'll notice the difference. It's not just about the physique or the achievements. It's about the energy. You're no longer the desperate guy. You're now the man who disappeared, grew, and came back without carrying the emotional baggage she used to throw at you. The result? She'll start wondering, "How is he doing so well? Did I underestimate him? Why isn't he chasing after me anymore?" These doubts are the beginning of the turnaround. The emotional control you demonstrated by not insisting, by disappearing, and by working on yourself will create an impact she didn't expect. And let's be real, she's very likely to reach out again, but now on your terms. The new dynamic. Now that you've applied the plan, it's time to understand what changed in the game, and more importantly, why it changed. And no, this has nothing to do with magic or luck. It's pure human psychology working like a well-oiled machine. The new dynamic. When you disappeared, focused on yourself, and reappeared full of confidence, something crucial happened. You shifted her emotional focus. Before, she saw you as that predictable guy, always there, easy to ignore. A sort of emotional furniture, useful but dispensable. Now you're an enigma. The absence and transformation created an uncomfortable void, something her ego simply can't ignore. The result? She starts thinking, "Did I underestimate him? What has he been doing that I don't know? Why isn't he available to me anymore?" This imbalance messes with her. Curiosity, mixed with a touch of regret, starts working in your favor. It's a natural phenomenon. When something that seemed guaranteed disappears, the perceived value increases. Practical example. Want a realistic example? Let's talk about Lucas. Lucas was that guy always ready to please a coworker he liked, always available, always the good guy. She, of course, didn't care, treating him as a disposable plan B. Tired of that doormat life, Lucas applied the plan. Disappeared from the map. No exaggerated flattery or daily messages. Started taking care of his body. posted discreet photos showing progress, socialized more, expanded his circle, made it clear he was living well. What happened? Within a few weeks, that same woman who ignored him was asking, "Has anyone seen Lucas? He's different." And when she approached him, Lucas didn't revert to his old self. He maintained the posture of someone who knows his own worth. The dynamic completely changed. Now she was the one in doubt, and he, confident, was in control. The power of transformation. Here's the main point. This was never about making her chase after you. It's about showing, through actions, that you're in a better place, with or without her. What does this do? When she realizes she lost the emotional control she had over you, her perception changes. The ego that once made her disrespect you now works against her. What was comfortable and predictable now seems mysterious and interesting. But what if she doesn't come back? This question is inevitable. And you know the answer? It doesn't matter. The goal of this plan isn't to win her back. It's to reclaim your dignity and evolve. If she comes back, great, but now on your terms. And if she doesn't, even better, because you move forward stronger, more confident, and with the certainty that you deserve someone who truly values you. In the end, the real game was never about her. It was about you. She might have ignored you, but that only served as the push you needed to get out of the emotional mud and transform yourself. And now, with this new version of yourself, the only thing that truly matters is that you're in control of your own life. And between us, that's much more attractive than any desperate effort to please someone. Now it's up to you! You already have everything you need to change the game. But here's the raw truth. Knowing what to do means absolutely nothing if you don't put it into practice. So, stop being lazy and get moving. The time to act is now. Recapping the plan. To refresh your memory, here's a quick summary of the steps. Disappear. Strategically. Get off the radar, cut the neediness cycle, and let her feel your absence. Focus on yourself. Work on your physical, emotional, and social aspects to transform into someone she, and anyone, respects. Reappear triumphant. Show your evolution subtly, without seeming like you're trying to prove something. This plan isn't just to change how she sees you. It's primarily for you to take back control of your life. Because in the end, the one who needs your respect most is you yourself. The power is in your hands. Now you have two options, my friend. Continue living as a doormat, chasing after her, accepting crumbs, and being a background character in her story. Apply what you've learned here. Become the protagonist of your own story. And, in the process, inspire respect wherever you go. And remember, this was never about her. It was about you. About being the person who doesn't beg for attention or validation. When you understand this, it no longer matters who stays or leaves, because the power is with you. Get inspired and act now. Want the simplest secret? The process starts the moment you decide. Does it seem difficult? Of course it does. Nothing worth having is easy. But every step you take, even the small ones, is already a victory. So, here's the challenge for you. Stop sending messages. Enough with crawling. Invest at least an hour a day in something that makes you grow. It could be a workout, learning something new, or even planning your goals. Look in the mirror and say, "I am enough." And don't say it like someone who wants to believe it. Say it like someone who already knows it. Accept the challenge and you'll already be doing more than most who remain stuck in the cycle of disrespect. Engage with the community. Now I want to know, which step do you find the hardest? Drop a comment and share your story. Let's create a space where everyone learns together to value themselves. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, that friend who's still the court jester in someone's life, share this message. Let's save more emotional lives out there. For reflection, disrespect does not define your worth. It only shows how much you're willing to fight for yourself. Remember, nobody disrespects someone who's on top. And if you follow this plan, that's exactly where you'll be. See you in the next video, where I'll show you how to maintain this powerful stance and ensure you never lose control again.